What a pity. And he was doing so well. Now yeah, I ought not to have left him alone so long. Big deadline tomorrow. Although why he suddenly wants to create according to someone else's deadline, I cannot tell you. Let us have a listen, huh? Here in our special home, this sacred space I maintain for him, along with the loving support I provide, things can be very tricky. I must know when to leave him be and when to intercede. For example, right now, a sound like that, very likely the sound of something beautiful being destroyed, can often be followed by the sound of something even more beautiful being created. That, for me, is the moment to witness the new work, the first pair of eyes upon it. However, when the sound of something beautiful being destroyed is followed by silence, like this, well, that is the moment he needs me most of all. Aha. He has put his little sign on his bedroom door. I did promise him that I would not disturb him if the sign was on the door, but in order for me to keep our bargain, to keep up my side of our agreement, I must trust my intuition. It is no simple matter to attend to the needs of an artist, especially when those needs contradict what he says he wants. Ach Mensch, wie siehst du denn aus? Hunter. I know just what you need. Fresh donut? Terribly sorry to disturb you. But you see, I was working in my room when I heard an awful noise coming from in here. With your deadline in less than 12 hours, naturally I thought it a good idea to come in and check on you. Oh, you were working. You were working. Well, I'm also sorry. I'm sorry that the sound of my work disturbed your work. I know how important writing your nightly Yelp reviews is, especially after such a full day. First, there was the barista at the museum cafe who ruined your cappuccino. Barista? Must I call someone a barista when they do not know the cardinal rule of cappuccino making? Listen to the milk. The milk. Listen to her. Can you not hear that she is screeching? Then there was that woman who cut you off in the museum parking lot on the way out. Ja, genau. Mensch, if I could have given her 0 stars, I would have. Well, you are very clever this evening. And yet, you have not guessed all of tonight's Yelp reviews. You wrote a 5-star review for that painting at the museum that you were staring at all afternoon. Breathtaking. Positively breathtaking. To see such a work as that, it is a privilege to witness it, like your work. For me, this piece today, standing before it, it was as though I were able to travel through space and time simultaneously. As if I were everywhere and nowhere all at once. And yet it also took me to a very particular place and time. Venice. Ah, Venezia. The year was 1574. I had been living in Venice for many human generations. My ward at the time was, like you, a true artist. By the time he died, he was completely penniless, utterly out of his wits, unable to do even the simplest of things for himself, just like me. Penniless, out of my wits, unable to do the simplest of things for myself. Oh my God. Oh my God, I'm going to die. This is going to happen. I'm going to die. I'm going to die. I'm going to die in this room. I'm going to die alone in this room with you. Nap time. A critical component of the creative process. Especially with all this pressure he has put himself under. You see, not only is his final work sample due tomorrow, but he and the other finalists must also interview for this highly sought-after artist residency. Why he is seeking another place to reside, I cannot tell you. He has one right here. Now, yeah. You have been sheltered too long, mein Bub. You have forgotten what the world will always do with people like you. Are you feeling better? You were talking about taking a little break for yourself, which I think would be a good idea. And as long as you have stopped, might I have a quick look at just what you've been working on so far? There's nothing left to look at. I was working on something all afternoon, all evening, ever since we got back from the museum, and it was going... I thought it was going well. No, it was. It was going well. I was finished. I was just checking it over, but then... And now I've got nothing. Nothing to show, nothing left to work with, nothing. I know just what you need. Nice warm swim. You and I, we leave this place behind. See us soaring through the clouds. Feel us flying over ocean waves, tropical breeze upon your face. Your feet touch down on white sand beaches. Nice, warm swim. No! I mean, no thank you. I appreciate it, Brent. I know you're only trying to help, but I think it's better if I stay here. I have to figure this out. I suppose that Gandhi will be serving up his usual pop art porn for tomorrow. That's the other finalist. You know him. I pointed him out to you at the gym that time. The guy on the Stairmaster who you said you couldn't stand. That is the other finalist. Hunter, I know just what you need. Brent, no, I don't need that. I can get this job on my own. I want to get this job on my own, and you will get this job. But what that will require is a little investigation on my part. Yes, I must get inside the head of this Gandhi. Brent, no! Gandhi doesn't deserve that. He didn't do anything to me, so stay away from him. You stay away from him, or else I will never let you look at any of my work ever again. Oh God, that's mine. Don't ask that. Ja, hello. Good evening. It is a bit late at night for good evening. Ah, hello, Wayne Fisher from Ironwood Collection Services. No, this is Mr. Keegan's roommate. What would my name be? What would my name be if what? Well, you see, would is a conditional verb, and what that means is that something would be the case, but only if something else were other than it is. I use it in a sentence for sake of example. Yes, if I were you, I would be very careful. A threat? Do not insult me. If I were to threaten you, you would know it. Yes, now you are starting to understand the conditional verb. My name is Brent Schadenfeuer. You have a very sharp ear. I am indeed from Europe. More specifically, the Black Forest. This is what we do. You tell me where you are right now, and I will pass that information along to Mr. Keegan when I see him, and he will come and see you, and perhaps I will come too. Of course you can. Of course you can. You know where you work, do you not? You go there almost every single day to do this cowardly job. I do not understand. I do not understand. You say you want to be in contact with Mr. Keegan, and yet you will not let him know how to contact you. I see only one explanation, you greedy mercenary. No, you listen to me. Wait. You have not the faintest clue what you have begun. Soon you will experience pain like you have never experienced it before. I will make you look down at your own body while I am scorching the flesh from it. I will keep you alive just long enough to wish aloud that you had never been born. Wayne called. There, Hunter. Ganz ruhig. I know just what you need. Story time. Yes, night story time helps you remember. Helps you understand. Once upon a time, in a land far, far away, there was a woodcutter, a simple man, and very poor, who wished and wished for a baby boy, a son to be proud of. But soon after his son was born, he realized his wish still had not come true. Welcome to my room. Oh, and my father is still sleeping, so we have to play quietly, okay? And please do not tell my little sister that I borrowed you guys. Well, thank you both so much for coming. And thank you, Princess Aurora, for bringing your beauty. And thank you, Prince Philip, for bringing your face. And thank you both for agreeing to play with me. We're going to have a few surprises along the way, and well, we'll find out what those are. Oh, but it's important to mention before we begin that no matter what happens while we're playing, it's nothing personal. I am speaking specifically to you, Princess Aurora. Yeah, Prince Philip recommended that I mention that to you when we were talking earlier. Yes, on the phone, weren't we? And he recommended that I mention that to you. So with that out of the way, do either of you have any questions for me? Yes, Prince Philip. Oh. Well, thank you. That wasn't a question. But I appreciate it. Okay, let's get started. Ladies and gentlemen, now is the moment you've all been waiting for. It is my extreme pleasure to introduce to you everybody's favorite evil fairy, the one, the only, Maleficent.
Hello, my pets.
Well, what have we here? If it isn't my two most favorite people in the whole wide world. Good evening, Prince Philip. And Princess Aurora. Named for the dawn. Well, good morning, Princess. gold of sunshine in your hair, lips that shame the red, red rose, beloved by all who know you. Well, was it any wonder I wanted to come to your birthday party? Well, I hope you liked my present, the gift of a curse. You pricked your finger, and then you had to be rescued, didn't you? So much trouble. The handsome and valiant prince here had to mount his noble steed and charge my castle. Oh, you left me no choice. I did what I had to do, and I turned into the dragon. So now, shall you deal with me, princess? You have the opportunity right now to apologize to my... No, that's stupid. That's stupid. We're not going to do that. We're going to do something else, which I'll think of. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time once again to return to Judge Maleficent's courtroom. Bump, bump. The Honorable Judge Maleficent here presiding. All rise. You may sit. All rise again. You may sit. All right. Princess Aurora, you are hereby charged with hurting this court's feelings. How do you plead? That's right, you are guilty. And your punishment shall be to clean out all of the ashes from the filthy fireplace. Meanwhile, Prince Philip, may I see you in my chambers? You are so fun to play with. I'm glad we have this time alone. I wanted to talk to you, ask you something. You see, my father is... How do I explain this to royalty? Yes. Prince Philip, my father is a woodcutter. He has always been a woodcutter. When he was young, he was the best at it. Each year, he would win the junior woodcutters competition. But I'm... Do you only rescue princesses? I was wondering if you would rescue me. You will? Of course. Anything. Dad! The next morning, when my father comes in to wake me, he is carrying his axe. I follow him outside where there is the largest pile of wood I have ever seen.
You will cut all of this wood. Finish before the sun goes down.
I try. I do. But I can't even lift the axe. I can't even do that. I see my own reflection in the freshly sharpened blade, and I watch myself decide to prick my finger. something in the sky. Something big and powerful. The dragon offers to help me. The dragon tells me that his name is Bren, and he will cut all of the wood for me.
First, you must sign your name in blood.
My father sees that the wood has been cut. He looks at me. I've never seen my father look proud before. He is so proud that he enters me into the woodcutters competition. The day of the contest arrives. People come from far and wide to watch. When I can't even lift the axe, they laugh at me. They call me names. And then someone starts to throw things, sticks and stones, because names alone are not enough. So I rescue him. I make his wish come true, as I always have, as I always will. My name's Gandhi, and I'm an addict and an alcoholic. What the fuck kind of meeting is this? Let's try this again. Hi, my name's Gandhi, and I'm an addict and an alcoholic. Jesus Christ, don't lose your fucking voices back there. I'm so sorry, you guys. This is really nerve-wracking. Natalie asked me to do this like 5 minutes ago because the real speaker for tonight flaked at the last minute. Surprise, fucking prize. Someone in San Francisco fucking flaked. Can you imagine? So I told her I'd be happy to be of service, fill in at the last minute and talk about my experience, my strength, and my, what's the other one? My hope. By talking about what I was like before, what happened, and what I'm like now. It's only 3 things, right? I can do this, right? Yeah. Okay, so off we go. What I was like before. Well, I did grow up in an alcoholic home, but mine wasn't like a lot of the alcoholic homes I hear about here in the rooms here, you know, where like people are being slapped and doors are being slammed and things are being smashed up against walls. Mine was very different. Mine was one much more of like quiet desperation. Like, shh, don't tell anybody, don't talk about it. My father was a scenic artist for the film industry. Basically, if you've seen any Western from the 60s or 70s, then you've seen my father's work. And my mother was, whoopsies, Freudian little wishful thinking there. My mother is still alive, first of all, but also a clinical psychiatrist. Yeah, exactly. And the nicest thing I can bring myself to say about her at this particular point in my recovery is that she is very, very, very hardworking. The line between home and work was always very blurry for her. In fact, her office, where she saw patients, was in our house. And in fact, I was one of her very first patients. 12 years old, diagnosed and prescribed, ADHD, boom, Ritalin, go outside, get out of here. And I'm not blaming her. I'm not blaming anyone. I mention it because I do trace my addiction history back to that point, because first I'm taking the pills, but then I'm crushing the pills up and snorting them, and then I'm sprinkling them on whatever I happened to be smoking at the time, which was Camel Lights in high school, pot all through college. And then in graduate school, I matriculated to crystal meth. And look, you guys, I'm going to be talking a lot about drugs. It's a big part of my story, and I realize that this is an AA meeting, but guess what? The real speaker flaked, so fucking deal. Okay. So what happened? What happened was, not long after I moved to San Francisco from Los Angeles, I could see the bottom coming. It was still a long way down, but it was also rising up to meet me, wasn't it? So I made a little deal with myself, like we do. Oh, fuck you. I don't want to talk. All right, I've learned in this program that when I don't want to talk about something, that's when I have to talk about something, so is it okay if I back up? Okay, let me back up. How do I, all right. Growing up in my house, there was always this feeling to being in the house. And the way that I experienced, if I had to explain it to you, it was kind of like I had one hand on my throat and one hand on the top of my head, and each of these hands would be applying varying degrees of pressure on me based on whatever might be happening to go on at the house at any given time. And I didn't really even notice it until I would leave. I would go and stay at a friend's house and then come home, walk through my own front door and be like, what the fuck is going on in here? This house is unclean, y'all, you know? And then when I was 12, I developed a little theory about where I thought this was coming from. So I decided to test this theory. And I waited for my mother's patient to leave the office, went over to the door, knocked very, very politely, waited very, very patiently, and eventually she says I can come in. I go stand next to her desk. I wait a little bit longer, and finally, without looking up, she says, what do you need? You might notice not what do you want, what do you need? And I said, do you love Daddy? No, I said, did you ever love Daddy? Jesus Christ, what a little shit I was. Did you ever love Daddy? And her eyelids, actually, they just went, phew. It was like they made that noise. You know, she like whipped her head away from me and looked out the window all frozen in silhouette, you know, like all noir. And I remember thinking in that moment about archery. About that moment in archery where the bow is pulled all the way back and there's all this like muscle shaking and wonderful tension, and I caused that. I made her do something, and I fucking loved it. And it lasted like, I don't know, 8 seconds, and she whips her head back around to me again, and she says, we all cut our deals, and then we live with it. Thanks, Mom, great talk, you know? But sure enough, what did I do? I cut my deal. I cut a deal with myself. This is the best part. You ready for this? The deal was I was no longer going to do ecstasy and crystal meth. Only one or the other. I don't know what the logic was there, but the next version of that deal was I could do both, but only if I was away at like a circuit party or whatever. Well, I don't have to tell this group of drunks where that got me, do I? No, I mean, 6 months later, I had enough frequent fucking flyer miles to go to the moon and back again. I mean, it was nonstop. And it wasn't just the drugs, but also the reckless behavior, shall we say. And I'm coming back to San Francisco after being away for a very long time, and I'm landing at SFO, and right away I'm turning off airplane mode, and I'm on Grindr, I'm on Scruff, I'm on the other one, it doesn't matter. What I'm doing is I am booking my dance card days in advance. Cut to me in a zip car in the parking lot of a fucking Comfort Inn in Colma. So you know the bottom's coming, right? I'm in this little Zipcar, which, by the way, was due back like days before. And Zipcar's sending me all these messages like, if you'd like to extend this reservation, just please reply to this text. But I'm deleting all of those because I'm too busy. You know what I'm too busy doing? I'm too busy waiting for Muscle Stud 101 to tell me where to meet him. When all of a sudden it hits me. Wham! I'd do anything for you, dear. Anything. And the next thing I know, I am masturbating in a zip car to the memory of Bill Sykes from Oliver. I mean, we've all been there, right? Like, I can explain that if you can. Fuck it, I'll explain it anyway. So when I was in high school and I was a freshman, I was cast in the school musical as Oliver. Thank you very much. And the boy who played Bill Sykes was a senior and on the football team and so hot. And we had this little showmance going on. Like, we were fuck buddies. And we also had a little power dynamic that mirrored the narrative of that particular musical. And if you know what that is, then you know what that is. Well, Bill is the boss. He's burly, he's surly, he's dangerous. And if there's ever any problems, well, he lets little Oliver know who the boss really is. And I fucking loved it. Loved it. For a time, at least. But, well, just like Nancy, I ended up with a teary black eye. Funny thing about masturbating and crying, they don't go together. So I stop, I zip up, I start up the zip car, and I make my way back to the city. Now, keep in mind, it's like now Tuesday morning. It is the morning commute. I pull onto the highway just in time for rush hour traffic, and I'm tweaking my perfect little nipples right off, and all I want to happen is for it to stop. But that's not gonna happen for hours, days, possibly. So I get this great idea. You know what you need? You need some red wine, because red wine usually makes me sleepy. So I get back to my neighborhood, ditch the zip car, nowhere near the lot, and I go right to this deli marketplace near my apartment, this deli place, and I get the biggest bottle of red wine they have, this big Magnum, take it up to the counter, pay for it, get some major judgmental looks from the guy who works there, this Muslim guy. Well, actually, I think he's Muslim. He's the son of the guy who owns the place, and he is so fucking hot. You guys, you cannot believe how fucking hot he is. And he hates me. So let's hang out, right? And I leave, and I'm walking home, and you have to understand that there's this guy in our neighborhood who always sits in this homeless guy. He always sits in the same fucking place, and I have to walk past him to the store, and I have to walk past him again on the way home, and you should know that I used to give this guy money. I did, until he saw me late one night with one of my gentleman callers, shall we say, and he changed his fucking tune with me. And on this particular morning, I get 2 steps past him when I hear fucking faggot, and I don't remember what I said, but it wasn't until I see the Muslim guy from the store running toward me that I realize what I'm doing. What I have been doing is I've been holding the bottle of wine over the homeless guy's head, and it's too late because I hit him. So what do? Well, I do what I do best, and I run. Wee, all the way home. And I get home, so grateful that the bottle hadn't broken. And I drink it all, but it doesn't work. So I have some medical grade marijuana delivered to the house. I smoke a lot of that, and then that doesn't work. And then the sun goes down. And it's at this point that the chemical stew that I have been now adding into my body every day really starts to amalgamate. And I start flipping out, you guys. I start hallucinating, I start vomiting, I shaved my head. And then my eyes start getting really itchy, probably because there's a million little pieces of hair in them, so I start rubbing them, which at first feels good, so I do it more. And then it starts to hurt, so I do it harder. And while I'm doing this, on the back of my eyelids, there's these shapes that are coming together and creating figures and then breaking apart and coming back together again, but there's this one figure that just keeps coming back stronger and stronger, and it's this little, this troll, man, this troll. And when I finally open my eyes again, he is standing in my kitchen screaming at me. So I must have freaked out and ran out of the apartment because the cops caught up with me because of what happened in front of the store, and they threw me in the San Francisco psych ward, 5150, court-appointed AA and NA meetings. So yeah, that's what happened. So, what am I like now? I'm mostly like this. No, but I'm grateful. I'm grateful. No, I'm grateful. I'm grateful. I'm grateful. I'm grateful. I'm grateful. I'm grateful for all of you. I'm grateful that we're having a meeting. I'm grateful for Natalie. I guess I'm kind of grateful that you asked me to speak, but not really. I'm grateful for this chair. I'm not sitting on the floor. I'm grateful that I have this job interview at this museum tomorrow, because if I do not get out of my apartment, I'm going to lose my fucking mind. I'm grateful that it does seem like it's getting better. Like that thing. Remember that thing that it gets better? Although, can I tell you something terrible? Can I tell you something else? Like, I haven't told you something terrible already. The first time I heard people talking about that it gets better, I swear to God, I thought they were talking about porn. Because, am I right? Porn. It just keeps getting better. Wrap it up? Okay, wrapping it up. All right, so then, that leaves me to talk about my hope, which is, I don't know. All right, okay, take me seriously. All right. My hope. Oh, yeah. Okay, that kind of works. Okay, so, over the weekend, I was supposed to have brunch with a friend who fucking flaked at the last second. Don't even get me started on that queen. When, instead, I'm seated by myself in the Castro next to this straight couple, which is fine. Just don't shove it in my face, okay? I'm eating. I'm kidding. Wait, am I kidding? I'm mostly kidding. No, they're fine. They're beautiful. They're so young in their skin, and the girl is slamming cappuccinos like repeatedly and talking increasingly louder and quicker about all the things we have to do this weekend. But her fella, is not listening to her at all. He's been looking at his phone the whole time, so she's getting frustrated, and she's fully caffeinated. So finally, she whips her head over to him and she goes, "Do you know you're driving me fucking crazy?" No, she said, "Do you know you're literally like driving me fucking crazy?" And I thought, I want that. So that's my hope. Well, I mean, to meet someone, but someone nice and hot who can handle me, so that I can eventually like whip my head around to him at brunch and say, "Do you know you are literally like driving me fucking crazy?" That's it, I guess. Thank you. Thank you for letting me share. Hey, Bren. I just finished. I was just getting ready to leave. Well. Looks as though inspiration did strike last night after all, huh? I see that your final work sample, your submission, is all boxed up for its journey to the museum, safely hidden away from adoring eyes. Might I have a quick look before you go? No. Such a pity about your phone. Simply terrible. Although, you must admit, each time something is destroyed, something else is created. Even still. Brand new, the latest model has not even come out yet. No, thank you. Perhaps you change your mind. You know, Hunter, I've been thinking, if you are chosen today, what that would mean for us. It would mean that I don't need a guardian anymore. Right? I would miss you terribly. but it is so clear to me now that this is what you want, so I will help you get it. And I insist, this is all that we do. We practice. I will be them, you, of course, are you. I will ask you questions. Hunter, an interview for something as prestigious as this, it is no simple matter. It requires certain traits, self-awareness, self-promotion, and self-esteem. Traits I do not think of when I think of Hunter Keegan. You must practice embodying them while under fire. Okay, Bren. Thank you, that would be helpful. But they're already fans of my work, okay? So please, nothing personal. Mr. Keegan, welcome, welcome, haha. Such an honor for me to finally be meeting you in person. Thank you. I'm also honored. I'm honored to be up for, honored to be being, ach Mensch, komm. Stammer. No. You are not honored to be considered. You are not honored to be anything. You are an artist. You are the artist. You are the divine walking among mere mortals. What you must do is make them bow before you. Try again. I am curious to see if this is the right next step for my career. We as well. Yes, we as well. Well, as you know, it is down to you and one other finalist, a Mr. Gandhi Schwartz. And our final decision will be based not only on our discussion with each of you today, but what each of you created for your final work sample. Your competitor. He has so much accomplishment, does he not? He has a real name for himself. Not only here in the city, but internationally as well. Whereas you, well, before you applied, I'd never even heard your name. So my first question is this. Why should we hire a nobody for so prestigious a role? There can only be one museum who will be able to say they had the first exhibition of my work. Precisely. This for me is precisely the problem. Your first exhibition? Your first exhibition here? Rather foolish, do you not think? It's rather childish. Perhaps better for you to have something to fall back on. So, let us assume for the moment that you will not get this. What will you do then, huh? Whatever my next project is, what I can tell you is that it will be a real departure. You see, I've been thinking a lot about heroes, about how they begin, how a hero begins. A hero begins at birth. You are either born a hero or you are not. But I must not interfere with your process. No. It is imperative that the artist have the luxury to let an idea such as this germinate. Yes, the artist must be free to play, to sit back without a care in the world. Which raises for me another interesting question. Here you sit, nearly 40, you've never had a real job in your life, no one has ever heard of you as an artist, and yet you have this rather extensive body of work, do you not? To what or to whom do you owe your privilege to create? You're asking if I have a patron, someone who patronizes me. I do. There is someone to whom I owe a great deal, and I know that. Do you? Are you sure? Are you sure you know exactly what you owe? Such relationships can be so very tricky, can they not? What a pity. What a pity it would be for you to burn that bridge before you were safely on the other side. What do you care about my safety?
This is it, Bryn. Hidden in this box is my best work yet. The piece which truly has made me an artist. The masterpiece which breaks my deal with you. The masterpiece which no one will ever see. What is that? That smell? What is it? It burned so quickly. Yesterday at the museum, they gave me the assignment for my final work sample. Self-portrait. I thought I didn't have any material left to work with, but then you helped me, Bren. You reminded me our contract. What better material to use? I used our contract to make my best work yet. And you were right. Each time something is destroyed, something else is created.
Okay, snap out of it. You may not want this gig, but you really, really need it. After all of your personal adventures, you have no other choice. It's either this or you move back in with your mother. How does that sound to you? I didn't think so. So smile, bitch. That's better. And be nice to everybody. No matter how weird or passive-aggressive somebody else might be. Just think of the reward, okay? You are going to get this gig. It'll be your first day at the museum. You'll be stepping off that elevator. Cute little attaché over the shoulder. Maybe a newspaper tucked under the other arm to show everyone that you are not just another pretty face. You'll be just like Sigourney Weaver in that movie. Working girl. Working Gandhi. Yes, mama. You could serve lapels, 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 shoulder pads. Oh, wait. She's the bitch in that, isn't she? Yes, she is. Okay, all right, so no big deal. You don't get to be Sigourney Weaver today. Go out there and be that other one. It's Melanie Griffith. Who do you think you're kidding? You will never be Melanie Griffith. No, my God! I'm so sorry. I didn't think there was anyone else in here with me. Terribly sorry. I did not intend to frighten you. You did not intend to frighten me. Well, if you would like some pointers on how not to frighten people, let me know. Well, well, well. What have we here? Flawless tan. Perfect ratio of salt to pepper in the hair. Chiseled Northern European looks and pecs. Hi. So what? Just hanging out in men's rooms, huh? Scaring skinny queens. Are you scared? If you are, I must say you hide it very well. Once again, my apologies. You see, I try never to interrupt someone when he is talking to himself. I wasn't talking to myself. I was just trying to psych myself up, to convince yourself. That is what I heard. Yes, yes. You were attempting to convince yourself to go after that which you do not actually want. This is very interesting for me. How long have you been in here? Because I checked under the stalls, I didn't hear anybody come in, and yet here you are. I guess the girl's got to be more thorough than that, huh? Gandhi Schwartz. Enchanted. Brennschadenfeuer. Brennschaden, what? Come on. What are you, like an archduke or something? What I am. It is not so much what I am, so much as what I can provide. And what might that include? I can provide many things. But my specialty, my favorite, is wish fulfillment. Gandhi. You know who I am. Now, tell me, what do you really want? Oh.
Un état Hiroshima, and je ne sais pas quoi. Dictée des Organime, bei einer schönen Mann. Doch wenn sich meine Augen bei einem
Vis-à-vis, ganz tief in seiner Saugen, was sprechen dann sie? You reach a certain age in this life, and you think, I know what to expect. You wake in the morning time, look out your window, and say, there is nothing new under the sun. And then, one day, in a men's restroom, there it is, staring you in the face. That thing that you have been hearing about for centuries. Love. Liebe. Und sonst gar nichts. He is my equal. We are perfectly matched in every way. And the sex, Mensch, the sex, draconian. It takes more than a bedtime story to put him to sleep. We came here on a little lover's getaway holiday. Undisclosed location, of course, so sorry. He needed to get away. He had not a moment's rest ever since his little breakthrough show at a museum called MoMA. Heard of it? Yes, yes, yes. Gandhi Schwartz. Front page of the New York Times art section. Cover of Art Forum magazine. It all happened so quickly. Naturally, there were a few obstacles in his way, but nothing a little maneuvering could not overcome. You see, that is the difference. Not only does he let me help him, but he appreciates it. Unlike some people do not want to be happy. Some people want to be alone and miserable. You like this one? Me too. Do you mind if I ask what it is about it that you like? I'm Hunter. Hunter Keegan. Yes, I'm the artist. I'm sorry, I wasn't fishing for compliments. I don't just hang out in front of my artwork waiting for somebody who admired it. I noticed you, and I saw you really look like you were engaged, and I was just genuinely curious what you thought. Plus, I just wanted to talk to you. What's your name? Philip? Your name is Philip? That's hilarious. No, I'm laughing at myself. It's kind of a long story, but Philip was the name of my first crush. He was a doll that belonged to my sisters. What does it mean? Oh God, don't ask me that. I have no idea what it means, but well, what I see when I look at it now is kind of like a postcard from a former self still in captivity. A postcard reminding me to live out here and not in there. You mean like a date? I'd like that.